Hello everyone, and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be exploring a vast vacant mall in Waterford, Connecticut known as the Crystal Mall. This mall formally closed its doors on March 31st, 2026, and the footage you're about to see in this video is from a trip I made in March of 2025, about a full year before it closed. And while Crystal Mall's story of decline is similar to many malls across the country, its final fate is somewhat stranger. But we'll get more into that later on. Let's go back and start at the beginning. Crystal Mall was the creation of the company State Properties of New England. After a decade of planning and 2 years of construction, the mall opened its doors in 1984. At $70 million, the mall was the company's most ambitious project to date. Crowds of awestruck shoppers filed into the mall, marveling at the collection of stores, bright indoor gardens, and the mall's namesake, a massive chandelier made of Waterford crystal. Worth $30,000, the chandelier was a gift from the city of Waterford, Ireland, uniting the two as sister cities. The mall's original anchors were Sears, JCPenney, and New England-based department stores Filene's and Marsh. The mall was a great success in its early years, being that it was the only major shopping mall in the area. In 1997, the mall was given its first upgrade, changing its earth-toned interior to a brighter white. There were plans to remove the chandelier, but due to its popularity with mall-goers, it was left in place. In 1996, Marsh was rebranded as a Macy's due to the chain being acquired by Federated Department Stores. In 2006, the Filene's department store was closed due to the merger of Federated Department Stores and Macy's, Filene's parent company. In 2008, the former Filene space was reopened as a split Bed Bath & Beyond and Christmas tree shop. And right now we're looking inside that old Bed Bath & Beyond, and we can see that all the fixtures have been left behind. Definitely an eerie sight. In 2012, Crystal Mall, now owned by Simon, underwent its second major interior renovation. At $10 million, the update included a new food court, new flooring, 2 new escalators, and updates to all entrances and lighting. Most of what you see here on my visit is the result of Simon's update, basically your typical bland Simon design. As we enter the late 2010s, we begin to see Crystal Mall fall into decline. In 2015, a Tanger Outlets opened in the Foxwoods Resort Casino, just a half hour from the mall. Sears closed its location in 2019 as part of a Chapter 11 bankruptcy that saw 142 locations close nationwide. In 2011, the Macy's was closed due to underperformance. And here we are approaching the closed Macy's. Let's get a closer look and see if we can get a peek inside. And we can see here that it's just a very old school looking department store with that old wooden flooring. In 2023, both Christmas tree shops and Bed Bath & Beyond closed all their locations, leaving the split anchor space vacant. And in 2024, JCPenney's closed, leaving Crystal Mall without any open anchor stores. And here we can see inside the old abandoned JCPenney. Very creepy looking in there, if I do say so. Simon Properties, in an attempt to cut their losses, handed the mall back to the lender, at which point it was scooped up by Namdar, a firm known for buying struggling malls and driving them into the ground in order to redevelop the property. But the history of the mall takes an even stranger turn. In 2025, the mall was purchased by General Dynamics Electric Boat Company. Now you're probably asking yourself, what the heck is General Dynamics Electric Boat Company? Well, they're the primary builder of nuclear submarines for the US Navy, and their shipyard is located in the nearby city of Groton, Connecticut. They intend to convert the mall into office and laboratory space, and it is expected to accommodate around 5,000 workers. Probably the strangest fate for a dead mall that I've heard so far. But what I want to know is, do they plan on keeping the chandelier? And here it is, the Crystal Mall chandelier, sadly flickering away in this vast empty mall with no one here to see it. Just something about this beautiful vintage chandelier in this bland, modernized mall just seems very out of place, like it shouldn't be there. Like a single stubborn rock against a stream of bland corporate modernity. I don't know what they plan to do with this chandelier when this mall closes, but I would imagine that if this place isn't open to the public, there would be no need to have it on display. I hope that it ends up being preserved somehow, and that it doesn't just end up in a dumpster, but I really don't know what's going to happen with it. But let's continue on with our exploration of the Crystal Mall. And like I've mentioned before, I found this mall just to be very bland and boring, but it's always exciting to explore such a big, empty place like this one, because you never know what you might stumble across. For instance, this next store that we're about to step inside felt like a trip straight back into the 90s. This is an FYE store, and I managed to get there just before it closed. And as you can see, this is not your typical FYE. This store used to be a Saturday matinee back in the 90s, and it still retains the original appearance from when it was that store. Saturday Matinee was a chain of mall stores that sold movies on VHS, and I believe in the early 2000s, they were all converted over into FYE locations. Just look at this guitar with neon lights for the strings. How cool is that? You don't see that anywhere else anymore. And all these bright neon lights going across the front of the store. Now let's go inside and see the remains of the last Saturday Matinee store. And we can see right there above us the Saturday Matinee logo. Now that is something I have not seen in a very long time. And look at those old CRT televisions. The vibe in here is absolutely amazing. It's just peak 90s, and it really took me back. When I was a kid, there was a Saturday Matinee store at my local mall, and I used to go there and buy movies on VHS tape, and it was just such a great time. I have such fond memories of that time period. And look at this carpet. How cool is that carpet? Where else do you see that anymore? And we have more of these beautiful neon lights all around this store. And look at this neon record up above us. It's rare to see neon lights nowadays, and it's even more rare to see ones that are in such good working condition. So it looks like this store was split in half between the Saturday Matinee on one side and a record store over here on this side. I couldn't find out too much information on this, so if you happen to know more about this place, or if you happen to shop here back in the day, please let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to know more about this place. But just coming back and walking into an old Saturday Matinee store in the year 2025, it was just an amazing feeling. I was just filled with such joy to see one of my childhood stores so well preserved like this. And sadly, it closed shortly after my visit, but I'm just happy I was able to make it here in time and film it and be able to share it with all you folks. And there are just so many great little details about this place, like these piano keys here, and this neon light for hit records. Just so much neon everywhere you look. And now imagine what records would have been up there back in the 90s. When I was growing up, there used to be multiple stores inside the mall selling physical media. Sam Goody, Saturday Matinee, Suncoast Video. There were all kinds of places you could go to get movies and music, and now it seems like they're just a thing of the past. In the early 2000s, they were all consolidated under FYE and rebranded, and now even those are closing up left and right. but physical media is having a big resurgence in popularity, especially amongst young people. And I think this is a great opportunity for independent businesses to rise up and fill the void left by these big chains. I would love to go to an independent mom-and-pop store selling movies. I know there's a handful of them out there. Maybe in the future, I'll make a visit to some of them and put it out on this channel. Let me know if that's something you'd like to see. But for now, let's say goodbye and shed a tear for the last Saturday matinee store. Alright, let's continue our journey through the mall. Let's head down to the bottom floor and see what we can find there. I just want to point out that although this mall looks very quiet, there was loud music blasting over the PA system all throughout the mall. And of course, being that this is YouTube, I had to edit that out of the video, so that's why I've chosen voiceover for this one. But if you can imagine, just very loud country music and classic rock blasting all throughout this trip. And now over this way is the former Sears store. And now just imagine, maybe a year from now, 2 years from now, this building is going to be filled with thousands of scientists and engineers working to construct nuclear submarines. Very strange thing to think about. And let's just take a look at this skylight. I would have loved to have seen what this mall looked like back in the 80s. I bet it was just absolutely beautiful. Nowadays, not so much. This is a store called Eblen's, and this was a sporting goods store. I believe they had locations all throughout New England. And this brand went defunct in 2023 and closed up all of their 50 locations. Here we can see some of the old Christmas decorations in storage, and I believe that they did decorate the mall for the final season in 2025. And here we have Christmas tree shops inside the former Filene's department store. And just look at that cool old school storefront with that sort of curved entranceway. Yeah, Christmas tree shops, another victim of the retail apocalypse. And look at this cool stonework over here. Definitely some vintage mall style still left in here. And this is Dollar and Things, and this used to be an old CVS. I believe it was a CVS. It was some sort of drugstore. And we can take a look inside here, and it's got some old racking, and it looks like an old school mall store. Very cool. And I believe this store is an old Windsor women's clothing store. I think, but I'm not positive. I've seen those lighting fixtures at Windsor's before, but I could be wrong about that one. Let me know down in the comments below if you know. And it's just one dead store after another inside this mall. It's a veritable graveyard of dead stores. And now this was actually my second time visiting this mall. I made a quick stop here on a road trip back in 2022, and I believe it was around the time that this mall changed ownership from Simon to Namdar. And so it seemed like it was pretty dead back then, but not nearly as dead as it is right now. So once again, a case of Namdar contributing to a rapid decline in mall's occupancy. This over here is an old EB Games, you can see by this cool pop-out window, with some sort of Hawaiian scene painted on it. Not really sure what that's about, but it's interesting. And this place caught my eye, and I just had to go inside. It's an antique mall inside an old mall store, and they have some arcade games here. They have Tekken Tag. Just look at that. And they have this old Capcom bowling game with the trackball. Very old school arcade game here. I would love to take one of these home one day. And if you're looking for the remote, I found it. Remember when people had these huge subwoofers in the trunks of their cars? That was definitely a thing back in the 90s. Do people still do that? This fan did not work. And check out this old TV. I bet this thing weighs a ton. Kinda crazy that they're selling it for $65 though. I absolutely love antique malls like this one, and I can just get lost in them for hours just looking at every little thing. And I would absolutely love it if somebody took one of these dead, dying malls and just turned the whole mall into just a massive antique mall. You know what? When I win the lottery, that's what I'm gonna do. And as I mentioned before, I did make a previous visit to this mall, and I stopped at this store, and it was a really neat store. It was selling like dragon figurines and swords and all that cool medieval stuff. It's too bad it's not here anymore. And take a look over here on the right. We have a Claire's store with that old logo. I'm guessing that must be from sometime in the late 90s to early 2000s. If anyone knows for sure, please let me know. Over here we have a vacant eyewear store, and let's take a look inside here. We can see all the empty racking and stuff just left behind. I don't know, maybe they can reuse them to store nuclear submarine parts or something like that. I don't know. And here we have the main elevator in the mall, and I saw an old picture of this. It used to have this beautiful neon sign for the food court. And I guess that was removed by Simon when they renovated the mall in 2012. I believe that the heart and soul of any mall is the Auntie Anne's pretzel stand. And when that's gone, there's not much time left for the mall. I'm not sure when this one closed, but it definitely looks like an older one because they don't have the TV screens up above. They still have the old menu board. And so this is the food court, and as you can see, it's mostly empty spaces. Here we have cheesesteaks, and over here, the empty Taco Bell. Surprisingly, the Walk Express had a long line of people in front of it. I guess it must be really good. Walking this way, we can see all these tables just going unused. And in the background there, we can see a former PacSun, which is now a Toy Vault store. And it looks to me like they have lots and lots of Funko Pops in there, which I am not a big fan of. Oh, and check it out, they have one of these weird little Dead Mall arcades. I love these so much. This used to be a pet store known as Pet Menagerie, and it's a very old school looking storefront with all that wood paneling. Very cool. So now I grew up watching Beavis and Butthead, and I am not above laughing at poop and fart jokes, and I got a real chuckle out of some of the ones here on this sticker machine. And I gotta say, this arcade had some really interesting vintage machines here. Like, look at this candy crane. That's definitely an old school one. And over here we have this rather elaborate looking prize machine. Not sure how exactly that all works. And just look at this dark corner over here. Oh, this is just so cool. I love the vibe of this place so much. I don't even think half of these games were plugged in. This is where my soul longs to be, in a dark arcade in the corner of a forgotten dead mall. pull my finger. Never seen that before, but that's really funny. Here we have some pretty common games, Terminator and DDR. And just in this back corner here, just all these broken game cabinets. As far as sketchy Dead Mall arcades go, this is actually one of the better ones in terms of game variety. Back here we have some old school ice ball machines, which are basically a clone of skee-ball. And this was actually really interesting to see. This is a really nice vintage pinball machine. This is Cactus Jack's, and I'm not really sure what's going on here in this scene, but it's definitely an old school pinball machine, probably from the 80s or 90s. Yeah, just look at all that. Isn't that cool? Alrighty, so that's going to do it for the inside of the mall. Let's head to the outside and see what we can find. And here we are outside the vacant Sears, and just look at how crusty and decaying it is. Check out all that pond scum growing on the sidewalk there. They definitely weren't doing much to take care of this building. And unfortunately, they had tarps up, so I couldn't get a good look inside. And over here is the back side of the Sears, where they had the merchandise pickup. And again, you can see that it's very decayed and crumbling, just falling into neglect. I would have loved to have seen what these vacant anchor spaces looked like on the inside. Unfortunately, I just wasn't able to see much. Here we have the old Bed Bath & Beyond and Christmas tree shops in the former Filene's, and we can see that this is just a massive building. We have this cool glass atrium, which I believe was an original feature from when this was Filene's. It's tough to see with the glare, but you can see some of the old shopping carts are still inside. So this is the outside of the Ebb lens, and you can see all these graphics just fading and peeling in the sun. I believe that's a picture of the rapper Future. Just something about these faded pictures just gives me a really post-apocalyptic vibe. And I think I can get a good look through this window here. Nope, just kidding. Here's the old customer pickup for Christmas tree shops, and we can see Santa's sled there. And this was kind of strange here. This is the old enclosure for the trash compactors, and it seems like it's been turned into a shopping cart graveyard. We can see all these old, busted up shopping carts, and it looks like people have been dumping their garbage furniture back here too. And this was pretty cool. Look at this old Christmas tree shop's trailer. Check out that faded logo on the side of it like that. I wonder how long it's been sitting here. Now, I just love these old red brick JCPenney stores with this sort of modern architecture style to them. There's still a few of them out there, and I just think they look really neat. Now let's take a look inside the spooky, abandoned JCPenney. So that's where we're going to wrap it up for the Crystal Mall. A very strange fate for a very sad, dead mall. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, and be sure to subscribe to see me go on more adventures in the future. If you'd like to support the channel, check out my Patreon page, or consider becoming a channel member. Anyway, I want to thank you for watching the video, I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one.